order.
All right, we are back with show number 35.
Wow.
Now, how is it that they do it? They record a week's worth of shows.
Oh yes, that one was How to Be a Millionaire or whatever it was, that show on TV.
Mm.
Yeah.
You got to, when you show up, you got to bring a couple of changes of clothes just in case you go on to the next session.
Right, which is supposed to look like the next day.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. And they do 5 or 6 in a day.
Mm.
So
so we don't bother changing clothes. And if we do 5 or 6 in one day, then we're ahead with the game. Have a holiday until we have to catch up. Okay, now here I am, picking my teeth after having a piece of toast.
You sure are. Very attractive.
right.
Now, where were we in this ripping yarn? Adventures in Adam's life.
Oh, jeez.
Tell about the Adventures in Odyssey that you used to listen to.
No, that's so off the point.
Well, it isn't really, because...
there was this radio show, or is this radio show, still going today, mind you.
Yes, and they're all videos and tapes and things.
Videos and tapes, and it's designed to have you focus on the family, and
so it's
Christian based. It's Christian based, designed to focus on the family, and give you some morals, and yeah, and it's got all these characters in this town called Odyssey, and
it's biblically based.
Well,
well, I fed it to you with your hello.
It's not biblically based. They do have certain episodes that are biblically based, but everything else is everyday people in everyday scenarios,
yes.
And basically how to overcome them in the right manner and according to the Bible.
That's right, biblically based. Hello.
Compare that to cartoons of today.
Yes,
exactly.
Now this is what you fell asleep to.
Yeah, this was the only thing I could fall asleep to, and
as you were growing
up.
up.
I've been that way my entire life to this day. I can't fall asleep unless I listen to music or a movie or lectures or anything. So, and I recently was listening to it, and
Adventures
just to get
in Odyssey.
I was recently listening to it, and just to get a feel for it, and I wanted to listen to the ones that used to scare me as a child. Like, they were very intense, these episodes. So I went and listened to them again, and damn right, they ended up being about a telecommunication company that set up a telecommunication tower, like all the ones that we have for our cell phones. They set it up on Tom Riley's land. He's a character in Odyssey, and his wife ends up getting a brain tumor and dying. And it's actually caused directly by the telecommunication tower. Now, along with that, they're also setting up these new digital boxes for televisions in all these places, in Odyssey. And what they had found was that the violence rate started going through the roof. The kids started being violent, and all this stuff was happening, and people didn't know what was going on. And normal characters in Odyssey, they would come into Wit's End, which is owned by Mr. John Avery Whitaker, and it's an ice creamery, and it's also got this thing called the Imagination Station, which he invented. And all the kids come there to learn about the history and Bible. And
so he's the wise old man and the teacher, the comforter of the town.
Absolutely. And mind you, his character actually looks a lot like Brian, which is pretty cool. But Mom says wise old man, and no, he doesn't even look old in Odyssey. He doesn't. You see the old Tom Riley compared to Wit, and you're like, Wit's a
well, that's because he's kept young through his wisdom. Like, yeah, okay. Who'd guess that he's 6,000 years old? At least. In this round.
And what they end up finding out in this scenario where all these kids are going nuts is that this telecommunication company actually knew precisely what was happening with this technology and what it was aimed to do. And the town ends up rallying behind it and they actually end up taking it to court and they're actually able to get them done on conspiracy. Now that's just one example of the many that they throw through there. They really, I was really dumbfounded and shocked. I'm really happy about it. Actually, I'm like, there's what's given me, my inkling for truth. Now, Ali and Abby and all them, they always avoided the scary episodes of the Odyssey.
What?
They always avoided the scary episodes. They didn't like them. And those episodes are the ones that deal with the very real subjects. Very, very real subjects. Yes, exactly. Telecommunication towers, boxes, Wi-Fi, and how it's destroying us and everything. And so certain things like that, and they deal with certain things like just social acceptance of Christ and what would happen in certain scenarios. Like they find the cloth of God, a cloth of the robe of Jesus, and certain things like that. And they really go really deep into it. They even have an episode that's dedicated to George Orwell's 1984. Where they go into that whole aspect of things. And this is for children. So, and there's very few Christian actually there's no Christian programming nowadays that would ever condone to a child, after what I've seen. And that's probably the only one that, that even in the future, that's like the only thing that we could take from now into paradise for the kids. If we really wanted to teach them and have them growing up and knowing what good and bad is without having to physically show them and have them imagine it, it's stories, It's just like what we would be telling them around a campfire, except they've got it,
they've got it covered.
They've got it covered, exactly.
So, Adventures in Odyssey, and you were born in 1991, the girls throughout the 80s.
Yep.
So, they've been around for a while now, more than 30 years.
Yeah, they've been around for a while. And they're still going strong to this day.
And you were never allowed to watch the Care Bears
or Rugrats or anything like that. But like seriously, when you get down to it, people, like just the simple analysis of Rugrats, what is it? The kids get put in their playpen for the day, and as soon as the parents leave, let's get out of here and cause some trouble. What is that teaching to kids of a young mind? Rebel against the parents? Don't listen to what they say? Oh, but these kids are having such good adventures. And it's always head up by Chucky, who's, not Chucky, but I can't remember. But
so you was watching it, huh?
Oh, later on in life, yeah. After we were allowed to.
Escape mom.
No, after we were allowed to watch it. When we moved to Hamilton, Dad just basically let loose. But Mom did shield us from that stuff. And actually, I was shielded a lot more than the girls were. The girls were the ones that were going around your back and doing that. I tried a couple times and I got caught. I got, like with Duke Nukem,
What's Duke Nukem?
An N64 game that I had. I got busted with that, and just everything I tried to go around, I ended up getting in trouble.
Now tell about when we were at Tulip Close, and I found Yah, and you're coping with it, but you had that game Counter-Strike where you were playing with Shadow Online, etc., etc. Tell how you opened up one day, and there's my photograph in the program. You called me in and said, this is impossible.
Yeah, it was weird. Mom's, it was like your little, it was a little photo.
It was the only photograph that I had on the computer. It was my computer.
Yeah, it became my gamer tag. And basically in Counter-Strike you have a can of spray paint and you can just put up like a little JPEG image in the actual virtual world. So it's like, you kill someone real quick, and because everybody's going to see, you're the last person in the round, they're going to see you do the last kill. So what you do is, you put your tag on the ground, so everybody sees you kill the guy, and then you look at your tag, and everybody's like, oh, it's a funny thing. It turned out to be Mom's image, and I was like, how the hell did that get there? When before it was like, I had a graffiti tag, right? Everybody has different images and stuff, but mine was graffiti. It turned out to be Mom.
I remember you started up the program saying, you said, Mom, come here, come and see this, this is impossible, this is impossible. But it was, there's my headshot and Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Which is what Martha is, of course, to Counter-Strike.
Yes, ma'am.
The cruise missile for...
The mouth from the south.
The mouth from the south. Sword of truth. The tongue. You see these lips? They're always got their cover on, because these are the weapons of mass destruction. The lip-ons. Lip-ons of mass destruction.
Weapons.
Yeah, so some idiot left a comment more recently about makeup is a sin, and I thought actually
this is where people have to divide the line between sin and things that are actually just quite a good idea and common sense. Okay, just because makeup was used in Solomon's era with all the eunuchs and all the fucking weird freaks that he was running around the show, doesn't mean that women shouldn't be wearing it today. Because, mate, look at a woman in the morning without a makeup and look at a woman after makeup. What would you prefer? Thank you. It's that simple. It's almost like oh, we shouldn't use toilets
If
because
you come back, darling, it's not that bad. Let's just do them again just in case, right?
I was going to do this before after some other wanker made a comment about... Anyway, how old am I? How old am I?
43.
Wrong.
Well, everybody in Sydney,
How old am I?
they said you look 10 years younger than when you last saw you.
Oh, all right. When they last
I
saw me.
honestly don't know. Wait, hold on.
Right.
I know.
I'm going to be 58 in August, right? Okay, so the makeup that is such a sin. This is it. You see this? This is a, for glasses. 50 cents from the Saldos. All right, this is the makeup. It's called a kohl pencil. Blunt needs sharpening. $2 from Flash Harry's or somewhere like that. Okay, that goes around the eyes. That's it. Nothing else. Otherwise, you can't see me. I say I've got to put my eyes on because nobody can see me otherwise. I mean, there was a time.
This is true because she basically has blonde eyebrows
the same
and
colour
blonde
as my hair,
eyelashes.
so-
Well, do your eyebrows. Let's see what they look like.
No, I'm not going to do my eyebrows. Now, this
They look
is
like Dar.
this is the lip liner, right? This goes around the outside of the lip. Same deal. I'm not wearing the lips. You've all seen it. Then you can't see me. And if I wasn't wearing the eyes without the lips, then definitely you can't see me. Now, the whole point is that I'm the counter-strike cruise missile, whatever you want to call it. These are the weapons of mass destruction, so you've got to be able to see what's coming at you.
I'll zoom in on them and...
No, don't zoom in. Just leave it as it is. All right, so I want the world to see the extent of my makeup and the value of it. This was, again, is Savvy brand, wherever, $2. Okay, I have a pencil sharpener to sharpen both of those.
Folks.
Here is the lipstick that falls out. This often falls out. This is another Savvy, probably $2-3 from the same Flash Harry's.
Folks, let's just put it simple here. Everything in this makeup container is valued around $3.50. Roughly.
So, when I recently left behind my plastic bag of makeup at, remember the place where we were waiting for the Ark of the Covenant? I was there a week. It was prophetic, obviously, because it was Italian, bistro, gambling, 24/7. Take the kids while mum and dad, they can play in the ball pit while mum and dad gamble, and you can feed yourself and drink at the same time. We're there waiting for the car because of the balls up surrounding that. Run in the back by Egypt. We were slammed by Egypt. Okay. So at that time, I had items like this, which was my makeup, in a plastic bag. We're talking about a plastic, like, clear Ziploc bag kind of affair. And I must have left it in the bathroom there the last day. So I go back there. As we're leaving town, and I said, did somebody hand in like a makeup bag? And the woman looked at me and she became so concerned. And she said, oh my goodness gracious, no, nobody's handed in. She said, look, I'm so sorry. She said, those things are so expensive, And I just looked at her and I said, don't sweat it, hon. I took $10 and we called into the local shopping mall. And in the centre of their court thing, they have these cheap stalls, where everything's $2. And I replenished my makeup with $10, being, the black for around the eyes and the lips as the weapons of mass destruction. So, the next dude that cracks on about...
Hold on. So you're saying you don't use any powder, no blush, no nothing like that?
No.
So, there you go.
No. So...
she's not like those girls out there now that grab that latex paste and slather on the fake skin. She's not doing any of that. So this is her natural skin tone and complexion. So. Yeah,
so any other idiot. Actually, I left a little message for that. You're mentally ill. Here is this dude listening to Fukushima, the alert to the world, the Christ is back, and the only salvation is in knowing his name, alerting the world to the death sentence, the judgment that is being carried out. And the only way out And this idiot, a Christian, talks about, better get rid of that makeup, Missy, it's sin.
Ugh.
So I left the comment that you are mentally ill. And then some other idiot that I slammed later said something, why does Martha remind me of what's that woman that died, the one that wears the false eyelashes, and I
Tammy.
Tammy Faye Baker. Oh my God, well the only thing I had in common with Tammy Faye Baker was I think she was about my size. First of all, she could sing, and everybody knows that I cannot. Second of all, towards the end of her life, she died of cancer some years ago, was that she was tolerant towards homosexuals and was into loving homosexuals. Well, everybody knows that the Christ and myself have no tolerance for homosexuals, because being tolerant toward them is not love. You are condemning them to being annihilated along with all the other demons on the earth.
And it's not about the fact of actually hating homosexuals. It's the fact that, okay, we understand it. We get the whole aspect of loving each other and everything, but the fact is the act and everything.
It's a perversion of the creation. It's a
sickness. It's an absolute sickness.
Now, that's what we're going to touch on too. What happened in Poland?
No, we're not going to go... well, I had a situation with a friend, and he was a very good friend of mine. I regard him as a brother. I regard him as one of the top friends to this day. And turns out, somewhere along the line, he was dabbling in homosexuality because he was really lost and didn't know precisely what he was feeling and exactly what his sexual preference was. And I didn't find this out till much later, and I'm like, okay, shit, how do I deal with it? That's a big kerfuffle in my life, because I don't condone homosexuality whatsoever, and I don't think that it's natural. A, I don't think that it's right. B, I don't think that it's. I know for a fact that there's no predisposition to sex before you're born, so you're not born that way. I've seen way too much evidence about all these homosexuals being, especially males, being high in estrogen, which is all your soy products. They're packed with estrogen. And honestly, I've seen great results with testosterone treatment and running 30 miles. Turn you straight real quick, man. But anyways. So I'm sitting there dealing with this, and I'm like, this has got me really perplexed. How do I deal with the fact that, I've got a best friend here, and he's homosexual? And, and that was one of my struggles, thinking...
But what happened?
Anyways, long story short, after Yah popped in his life... We
stayed 24 hours. We were supposed to stay much longer.
And after Yah just came into his life, or probably looked in his eyes once after he left, from that point on, he was cured. Cured. I say that because it is honestly a mental disease, and it's terrible. It's just as bad as saying that we're all equal. It's like calling all races equal when you turn around and say that, a homosexual person can't help that. They can't help it. That's like saying to someone that's got cancer, you can't help them. You can't cure them. It's like saying to someone that's hurt on the side of the road, you can't help them. You can't hurt. No, it's bullshit. That's a fabricated lie. And it is, honestly, most people it's a mental disorder, and other people it's traumatic experience, and a lot of other people it's pure confusion, and it's just your estrogen levels are too high. It's that simple. You got female hormones in you. It's that easy.
From the foods.
Well, from the foods, and it's not even like natural female hormones. It's almost like it's a
They're called phytoestrogens.
Phytoestrogens. It's like a natural synthetic hormone, right? It's almost like you guys have seen that movie, The Happening, where where basically everybody's committing suicide because the plants start giving off a hormone that makes everybody want to kill themselves. Well, the plants do have that effect on us. And I don't mean by the suicide, but...
Phytoestrogens are in all of the seed oils, flaxseed, sunflower, all of the seed oils. Yeah. The polyunsaturated oils that are killing everybody, and in particular soy products, soy oils. Example, a soy baby formula daily is feeding a child between 13 to 22,000 times the amount of phytoestrogen into the child, and it causes the confusion it's the estrogen dominance where the body shapes go out of whack. Small penises.
This is why we're seeing a pandemic, especially in the lower income housing places, dwellings, all through the world. Is we're seeing little girls that are going through puberty at the ages of 5 and 6, and then we have little boys that are developing breasts instead of developing proper testicles and actually dropping testes through puberty. They're developing breasts, right?
And micropenises.
Micropenises, and and of course this is in low income housing areas because this is all they can afford is the junk shit that they force us to eat, and
tell you it's heart healthy because it's polyunsaturated. It's all a lie.
And tell you that soy lowers your cholesterol. No, that's bullshit. It does lower your cholesterol, but the fact is, it does one thing while it destroys a million other things. While it's hurting you 100 other ways, they focus on the one point that because it's destroying your red blood cell count and it's throwing your hemoglobin down, because it's attacking your liver and your kidneys all at the same time. Your cholesterol goes down because your body's literally under attack. Function.
Another thing too about cholesterol is that they've set the standards way too low so that everybody's having to go on statin drugs. It's another absolute lie. Your body needs cholesterol. If it is not getting enough through dietary sources like eggs, then it will make it itself. Cholesterol is used in the brain, and it's used to maintain the elasticity of your arteries. Now, a lack of vitamin C will make your arteries brittle around the heart. Mm-hmm. Cholesterol comes in as the savior to keep the artery from collapsing or breaking completely until your body begins to get enough vitamin C, and then the cholesterol will recede.
And don't be fooled. Eating McDonald's and all that shit doesn't higher good cholesterol. That's just pure fat. Not even pure fat. That is just crap. That is nothing for you. It's almost like how 50 years ago it was sodium fluoride in our water. Now it's 1,000 different chemicals at different ratios of levels and dosages. You have no idea what it is. It's the exact same thing with the food that you're eating. You know, it's not. You can eat a burger a day from McDonald's, and each dose is going to be different every time because that meat is. There's no standard. There's no regulation on it.
And naturally then the BPAs and all of the plastics that were suddenly discovered, and so now it's become the thing.
Well, look at all your every single Coca-Cola can, every single can that you guys drink out of, your Stubbies and everything, all those cans are lined with BPA plastic. And then you look at what they're throwing in there, the alcohol, and then you look at all the shit that's in Coca-Cola, that eats the BPA. It literally dissolves the BPA. You're drinking plastic. So... And it's like, the only things that they don't throw ingredients on it in Australia is cigarettes and booze, and it's because the beer here causes cancer like there's no tomorrow. The beer here is the shittiest beer in the face of the planet. People, come on. America and Australian beer is the lowest grade piss on the face of the planet. Like, I've got mates that have been working in the breweries, and you should hear the horror stories. The absolute horror stories. You guys aren't drinking.
Can you give us an example?
Well, I'll give you an extreme example for all the boxed wines that everybody loves out here. Right? And when I mean piss, I don't mean just the beer. I mean all the alcohol you guys drink out here is substandard crap. All your boxed wines, okay, they all come from the same vineyards. But the thing is, the excavators and the harvesting machines, they run through these vineyards. And there'll be birds' nests, there'll be wombats, there'll be a whole bunch of stuff in there, live stuff, and it all gets mulched and it all gets put into the same thing. My mate said, I had a mate that was working on there, and he actually saw the farmer's dog go into and the collar and everything, and it got mulched up, and that's what gets pressed into your wine. Oh, it gets burnt off. Don't worry, it gets steam, but. And also, for instance, for your alcohol here, all the ingredients are the most subpar, cheapest ingredients from the corners of the earth. So you're getting your barley from all your yeast and everything's coming from China. It's coming from places that the most questionable sources of the face of the planet, and this is what you're drinking. That's why if you're going to drink anything in Australia, you pay the extra $5 or whatever it is, and you go Australian brewed by a local small Australian brewery. Reason why they do it, most of those beer companies anyways tell you on the back the reason why they're doing their own brewery. Literally so they can have something safe to drink. Drinking all your BBs, all your Fosters, all that crap. Lord, it causes cancer.
It's got to be in bottles.
It's got to be in bottles as well, 100%. But yeah, these are huge cancer causers, and that's why there's no ingredients on the bloody thing. It's like, I'm shocked when I talk to people about smoking cigarettes. I'm like, that tobacco is actually harmless. It's like the only thing that's harmful about it, right, is the smoke, because any smoke is carcinogenic. Even cannabis smoke is carcinogenic. It's not good to be inhaling any type of smoke. But the fact is, tobacco itself will not kill you. And the doses of nicotine, it's not where people are, really addicted today. It's like literally you smoke it, and a few hours later, I kind of feel like having another cigarette. Like I could have one if I wanted one. That's it. It's not like you're going, oh shit, I need another Smitty, I need another smack. And that's what everybody's out there smoking these highly just saturated, irradiated, because they grow it with radiated crop nutrients. So what they do is they grow it. I can't remember exactly which one it is, but it's filled with mercury and lead. It's lead and mercury based, and it's irradiated. And what it helps is it helps the crop grow during the day. Now, crops don't grow during the day. Okay, they grow at night. Crops, all plants, they suck in energy during the day. They suck it in through their leaves, and then at night, that's when they utilize that energy, and that's why it looks like they go to sleep. They're actually not sleeping; they're working at night. They grow at night.
It's the same with human beings.
Exactly. Now, what they do with the radiated product is it actually allows for the plant to take in the energy, but to utilize it at the same time. So it's growing 24 hours. Quick harvest. And of course, they're also genetically modified seeds as well. And that's the baseline problem. And that's what they're saying. They're saying when you get lung cancer, it's not the cigarette smoke that causes the lung cancer. It's the radiation. It's the radiation that causes all these things. That's why they're saying now that there's such a thing as third-hand smoke. They're saying there's a thing as third-hand smoke. Second-hand smoke is where you're in the room with someone smoking and you're inhaling it. And they're saying that you can die from that. You can get lung cancers. You can get liver cancers. You can get all these certain things. But now they're saying that there's such a thing as third-hand smoke. That means that the second-hand smoker who is sitting in the room with someone smoking goes out to somebody else away from the smoker, and that third person that they go see is contracting an illness from someone being in the same room as the person.
Well, think about Fukushima now, the plutonium, the breathing in, the nanoparticles, etc. Yeah. And they're talking, it's the lung cancer, etc. And then it's the same thing.
But at the same side of the spectrum, you can look at it this way as well. There are some tobacco companies that are owned by non-Jews, and they swear on their lives that they don't use any radiated products at all, and what their own, what you listen to what they say, and they're blaming the nuclear industry. They're saying that it was all the tests in Arkansas, Alaska, and all these places. They're saying, Arizona and Alaska and Nevada.
Well,
they're saying, look, we're the excuse. We're the excuse for the mass amounts of death. All these people dying from smoking aren't dying from smoking-related causes. They're dying from radiation-related causes.
Yes.
It's that easy, right? And so yes, you do have a lot of companies using this radiated stuff, but at the same time, you have a lot of companies that are trying to do it the straight and narrow and know their history and background because their parents have been in it for generations and generations, white people, and they're saying they're speaking the truth. They're like, look, these people are dying because of radiation that's been bombarded in this country. It's like, how can you let off? What was it in something like 1,500 nukes in Nevada alone? Enough to
250 in 1 year.
250 in 1 year.
It takes 2 years to prepare each bomb. So figure that out.
So that's the...
And in Hawaii, the lung cancer is up by 17,000%.
17,000%.
Thyroid cancers, yeah.
And that's only from 100 years ago. From 100 years ago today, 17,000%. What's that today?
And now with Fukushima, it's millions.
The world's finished.
Yes.
Absolutely. You either get on board or you're out of here. That's about it.
And
it's funny, like Israel puts their own foot in their mouths by bombing the Palestinians with depleted uranium. It's like that's dirty bombs, right? That's exactly what a dirty bomb is. Depleted. That's why I thought it was absolute madness with the world when they're going, wait for nuclear warfare. I'm like, what the fuck do you call Fallujah? Look at the children being born in Iraq. There'll be, for the next 5 generations in Iraq, there'll be birth defects. And I mean, like, with the weirdest features. Like, children are being born with their organs on the outside and living. Okay? Now, what the hell do you call that? And they're like, oh, it's just depleted uranium. Mate, depleted uranium. What is that? That's to get depleted uranium, it's a nuclear process. These are nukes. That is a nuclear device. You know, that's why even the soldiers just handling the shells are coming back with the, you know, all the worst kinds of cancers you under the sun.
Now, we had a conversation last night. First of all, we ended up watching part of Metropolis, which was the first cinematic movie
from Germany. Absolutely amazing.
And then you were telling me, was it called Snow Train, the one you were telling me about?
It's called Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer.
It's when you guys understand who's the real target nowadays, which is the Aryans, the Celtics, the Slavs, the Scandinavians, like the original white race. When you understand that they are truly the target here, you know, through forced immigration.
You can break that down to the Christians. It's the Christian society.
Exactly.
Remember, the Jews who crucified Jesus are the enemy of all mankind.
And they were extradited out of 109 different countries because every time that the Jews were given an inch, what did they do? They got in, they monopolized the markets, and they systematically starved every Christian person to death. They literally got in, grabbed the market, put a stranglehold on it, and systematically tried to murder everybody that was not Jewish. That's why they were kicked out of 109 different countries. They've done it over and over again. Every chance they've got.
Explain Snowpiercer, the movie.
No, Snowpiercer, it's got everything in it for you. Okay, it's a train that is on a track, and the world is apocalyptic. They are literally the last civilization on the face of the planet. And you've got the head of the train. Now, the head of the train, right? As you know, the cars as they link up, that's basically social status of the world now. Okay. So where you are in regards to train and where your ticket is your status in the world. So if you had a coach ticket, you're a coach. If you're first class, you're the elite, right? So coach ticket, middle class, first class, you were the elite. And then of course you had the stowaways in the back, which were the ones that hopped onto the train, okay? Now, when you get down to it, right, they're always trying to come up with a revolution in the back, right? These stowaways. They're always trying to figure out a way to get to the head of the train, right? Now, they end up going through the movie and they end up getting through the train. Now, who is the enemy that they face here? These people on the train. They're Aryans. They dress them up as Nazis almost, okay? So what does that tell you? They're the white Christian Orthodox Aryan. So who are the people that are coming at them? They're obviously the Jew, right? They're on Exodus. They're the castaways. They always look at themselves as the down and dirty, right? The ones that have always had the shitty deal. And they're going up against what obviously looks like, Germans and Nazis. So who would they be? Obviously, it's the Jewish mentality. And this one man that starts off at the back, he ends up getting to the very front of the train where he meets the conductor, the man that's been controlling everything. And that's where he finds out that nothing happened by chance. So when an accident happened and a bunch of people died in the cars and the carriages, he found out that was actually population control. And he found out that the wise man at the back of the train, who was a Jew, that he confided in, right? They all talked to him. He was like the wise man of the stowaway. Turns out he was always in communication with the head of the train. And that's what the head of the train said. He said, the head and the tail of the train have always been in communication. They always have to be. It's a train. And then he starts thinking back, oh my God, absolutely everything in his life has been set up. Now, the white Aryan that is telling him all this and revealing it to him and saying, look, this is how it works. This is how we're keeping civilization alive. He goes, I'm dying. I'm willing to pass it on to you. You're the only one that's really got the smarts for it, and you're the only one that we can reveal this to. So, what's he end up doing, the good old Jew? He takes the Samson option. He destroys the entire train. Destroys the last bit of civilization. Kills us. Kills everybody.
Well, that's a real spoiler. I need to watch it now.
Still worth a watch, mate. But, yeah, and that's it. Oh, sorry, mind you, because he crashes the train, everybody else dies. The only two to survive is an Asian and a half-caste boy. So how's that? How's that for you? The Asian and the half guy, half breed. No white man. And where are they left? They're left in the middle of like Alaska. They're like left in the middle of a mountainous, snowy terrain. They're just stuck there. They're like, I was like, yeah, that's where you're going to get yourselves without the white race. That's your multiculturalism. That's the end of it right there. But yeah, and that's the thing. That's the underlying thing. When you understand who's the actual target here, and where propaganda is really leading, and what they're really trying to do and indoctrinate you with, every single Hollywood movie out there, the heroes, the victors, are always the Jew. It's always got to do with people that have less and are looked down, or not looked down upon, but are in need and have it the hardest way. And it's always the story of the Jew being extradited and basically him getting him back. Like you look at the movie Caddyshack, that explains it right out. Bill Murray in Caddyshack. You just have to watch that. And you got that Jewish comedian, what's his name? Hey, he talks like this, you know? That Jew ball. Anybody that's seen Caddyshack would know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's the perfect depiction right there. You know, there's a white man, the white Aryan, the white Orthodox Christian. He's got a beautiful club. He's got a yacht, and they're very well civilized. They're civilized people. And then, of course, the Jew comes in, and he's like, I'll make you a wager, you know? We'll play a round of golf, and I'll win, and I get to keep the resort. I get to keep the golf resort. And the guy's like, oh, okay.
Oh,
so they no. That was like the third one of Caddyshack.
Okay.
So that's basically a third take on of it. And of course, it's the Jew playing the white Orthodox Christian. The Jew's very clever. Now the white Orthodox Christian, he's not swearing. He's not coming up with any derogatory shit or immoral standpoints. But of course, the Jew, he's coming in and he's joking about the size of his woman's breasts, and then he's coming in and he's talking about this, and he's being loud and obnoxious, and he's basically turning the restaurant into like a disgusting, rude, filth lounge, right?
Which is what they were doing to Germany.
This is what they do everywhere. Yep. This is what they do everywhere. They bring in the most disgusting... Like, today's culture is not our culture. This is not white culture when you go look on the media and everything. That's the Jewish culture. When you look at the television shows, that's not our culture today, folks. That's fucking Jewish culture. You look at the Goldbergs television show out there that's giving you the example of what family should be like. That's Jewish culture. That's what they are like, not us. That's not in our nature. Are you kidding me? You look at these stupid movies that come out. My God. Get out of here, thinking that that's our culture. That's what you think your culture is, because you don't know your ancestral history. You don't know that. You think you're Canadian. You think you're Australian. Fuck that. You're not Australian. You're not Canadian. You actually come from Germany. You come from Scandinavia. You come from Russia. You're Slavic. Your history is filled with rich, amazing history, heritage. Your ancestors. My God, the things they did. Not this filth that you see on Hollywood. Are you fucking kidding me? You think you're Canadian. My God, mate. Learn about your history. Learn about what the people that founded their land did before you went to Canada and your whole family went to Canada. Before all of that shit happened, go look at your heritage. Look at the stuff they were building with their bare hands. It outweighs anything that these Jews or anything that this culture in today's society can do. It's just, that's what I mean. That people, it's just ridiculous, right?
Well, that's what the Colburn is about, treading the ancient paths. It's the paths of the ancients, those that went before us, who spilled their blood. We're talking about the blood of the saints. The Colburn Bible records the true words of Jesus, the teachings that came from the Celts, which was known as the West. These were the Isles of the West. You had the East being Israel, well, it wasn't Israel, it was Palestine, the Holy Lands. And you had the West, the Isles of the West, so Scotland, England, Ireland, the ancient paths that were trodden by the Celtic peoples, which is where the Christ family came from. You've heard this over and over and over. So that's where the tradition and the history and the wisdom, the real men, the real women, versus you weak man and the harlot woman. There's only two types of woman. You've got now that last night was in Metropolis, wasn't it? You had the counterfeit.
Yes.
You had the pure soul of Maria, And then you had the Maria lookalike, which was actually the machine invented by the devil, and enticing as the harlot.
No, it was a machine invented by a Jew. It was invented by a Jew.
The devil.
Yes.
That's what we call. That's why, as Jesus, he condemned them. John 8:44. Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lusts of him will you do. And there was no truth in him. He was a liar.
And like, folks out there, let's not get it twisted. It's not Zionism, okay? Because look, Bolshevism was before Zionism. So what the hell do you call that? What?
Well, it was all happening at the same time.
No, Bolshevism was definitely before Zionism. Bolshevism was rampant before Zionism. Yes, you had Zionist Christians and Zionist Jews that had the thought of, oh, okay, let's go to Israel and that's our promised land. But there was no organized group of Zionism. There was nothing like that. Bolshevism was established. They had newspapers, printing presses all through of Europe. Now,
Herzl, wasn't it? Zionism?
Herzl, yes. Theodore Herzl. Yeah, but that's all out of the protocols of Zion. Bolshevism was there. It was all part of the plan.
Communism was it?
Yes. The name, I've said it before, any kind of ism is a rabbit hole. It's of the devil. Truth is truth. Christ is here. And, of course, you've got the Antichrist in Francis. Why is Francis the Antichrist? Because he was given the news. It was announced to him that the Christ is here and identified by Pope Benedict XVI in Leonard Golightly Marshall. And as you all heard me read the Apostolic letter, what happened in that meeting, Francis rejected. So he became the opponent of the Christ. Now, there's many, many Catholic militants out there. One today that I posted to a Catholic site, a Father Ashcraft was his name. He's an exorcist, and he is openly saying that Francis is Lucifer. He's been taken over by Satan. He's a heretic, he's an anti-pope, he's an antichrist. Now, getting through to these people, as we have tried to do, it's about the danger of the souls. You see, Francis is parading around as this humble servant. He's always talking about Jesus and the humility and serving, and it is a total scam. The man is a fraud. Deep within him, he is a hungry wolf, and he likes to hoard wealth. The world is in peril because they are bowing down to worship the Antichrist, which is all entirely prophecy. The whole world deceived. Now, it's not because he himself is waiting for the Christ himself to front up in the clouds on the floaty ghost horse. It is because he has rejected the Christ in his flesh body. No, that is not him. I object. And how dare, in the Apostolic letter yesterday with Vatican III, I will not follow Mr. Marshall. How dare he? Who does he think he is to bring forth Vatican III? Hello? Do you see what an idiot this man is? So this morning, after I had left comments at the site, Zenit site, a Catholic site, with the Apostolic letter saying that Francis is the Antichrist, and I called him an idiot. So the objection that I get is another one of the deluded. Take your hatred of Francis elsewhere, you know. I said, listen, the only hatred here is coming from the Antichrist, who is devouring the 1.2 billion souls, because they will end up going where he knows he is headed. Unless people know the name of God, the new name, Leonard Golightly Marshall, there is no salvation for them.
They know they're screwed. It's a one big soul grab. That's what they're doing. And
that's described in the Revelation itself. It talks about the devil coming cast down to the earth. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth, for the devil knows that his time is short. And so what is he doing in that time? Taking as many souls that will kiss his feet, bow down, kiss his ring, that he can. And at this point, there's close to 1 billion people doing it. Oh, he's marvellous, he's wonderful, he's this, that, and the other. In the meantime,
look what he's doing, okay? It's the same thing that you see in the music industry. It's the same thing that you see in every culture. He's accepting and he's endorsing. No, he's accepting and endorsing homosexuality. He's accepting and endorsing Islam, which is the exact same thing that you see in every culture now. And everything, you look at it in hip-hop culture, which is the first thing that we want is homosexuals. And you got homosexuals in there that are doing massive numbers. It's anybody that accepts this shit and pushes it will do huge. Will do huge. They are at the forefront. If you can't see an agenda at full-blown speed here now, then good riddance to you. Seriously. Seriously. Because it's just like the student in France. The French student. You know, she could not see the agenda. And she thought it was a good thing. This is progress. It's moving forward. Look, I get the whole fact that moving forward is understanding a gay person's disposition, but it doesn't mean that we accept it. Doesn't mean that we go, you know what, you're absolutely right, that's okay. Go ahead, make out in public. Be on every single television show that comes across our news radio, our stations. You know, go ahead, teach our kids in school. Go ahead, teach them about mommy and mom, daddy and daddy. Go ahead. No, hell no. And she had a problem that I had that. That was like, you wouldn't let your kids see two men kissing each other? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you?
Ask Amber what that's like.
And she goes, well, if two men can't kiss each other in public, then neither can a man and a woman. I'm like, there's a difference. One is natural, the other isn't. She goes, how can you call love not natural?
It was Adam and Steve in the Garden of Eden. No, it wasn't.
Oh dear.
How are we going for time, baby?
Well, we've got 10 minutes to go.
Well, we do have the Christmas present story.
Oh, we haven't got around to the Christmas present story. Yes, 2010. What happened? How did you end up with this thing?
I was living in Cronulla and was working and not being paid. And
It's
working
the story
not
of your
being
life,
paid.
isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was in a relationship with a girl and that went south and I was totally turned off women at that point. I was like, fuck this. Women are the devil. And, but actually this goes back to when I was 15, when I had the dream.
Yes.
It actually goes back to when I was 15. I had a dream when I was in Australia. I had two dreams. First dream was I had a dream with this girl and I fell in love with her. Like I woke up and I was in tears. I was heartbroken for about 6 months. That's what really did my head in. Now in this dream, I'm standing there and it's literally like a comic book. So I'm standing in between two scenes, right? I'm standing on that white line. Behind me, the world's being absolutely destroyed. It's apocalyptic. In front of me, it's a paradise, and there's this little sign that says Paradise Falls. It's a beach, and then you've got this little berm of green grass that goes up, this little berm, and then you've got this pink resort, this pink hotel. And I'm standing there, and an international plane comes flying in and crashes into that building, reams right inside of it. And I go, oh shit. And I remember exactly in the dream, like running, and the sand on my feet, on the bottom of my feet, burning my feet, like it was that hot, you know, I was like, shit, And I get up onto the wing section, I'm on top of the wing section, and on the outside of the wing, it's cold, but as I get closer to the engine, it's getting warmer, and then as I get closer to the burning plane, I can feel the heat. And I jump inside because, you know, the top cavity, it's been like ripped open, and I'm inside, and I jump down, and there's this girl, and I try to save her, like I'm trying to unbuckle her seatbelt. She pushes me away. I go, no, fuck that. Go in, I try to, and she pushes me away. No, screw that. I finally get it undone and pull her out, and she goes, can you save my mom? Can you save my mom? And her mom's sitting there, and I go in for it, and the flames come up, and I go, no, I can't, you know, it's too late. And then it pans out like a movie. We're just stuck, left there on the wing section. And then it comes back in, and it's in that scene where all the destruction is, where all the apocalyptic, and there's a wedding going on, and it pans in like a scene in a movie where it comes in like this, and you see the bride and the groom, and all of a sudden the camera goes right into my head, and then all of a sudden it's my eyes, and I'm looking at my bride in front of me. I lift the veil, and it was this girl with a cute button nose and these freckles that were just thrown over her face. She had beer-colored eyes, hazel beer-colored eyes, and she had brown hair, and she was beautiful, like blondish brown hair, and she was absolutely gorgeous. And I woke up in the morning and I was absolutely heartbroken, you know? God damn, what the hell was that? You know, like I actually had my heart ripped out of my chest. Like I had loved this person for my entire life and now they were gone. And I was like, oh, that's not fair, you know? Like, oh, what the hell? This really scared me. So 6 months later, I finally get over it. The night I remember I get over it, I have another dream. And throws me right back into it. Now the other dream, it's me and the same girl. She comes to this, I'm in this dorm room, and we're in this massive college, this massive school, so we're learning. And she comes in, she knocks on my door, she goes, come on, I'm taking you for a walk. So we go for a walk around the school, around the yards, through the hallways and such. And every single person that ever did me wrong in my life met us along the hallway. And as I would get there, I would get nervous, but she would come out and she would make fun of them. She would have like a joke. They would say something and she would just go, is that yours? You know, and it would just have them fall to pieces. Now we get into the movie theater, like we get to this class that we're supposed to be heading to, and it turns out to be a movie theater, and the seats are in the shape of a pyramid. So we've got seats on this side and seats on this side. There's a screen here and a screen here. We both part our ways. I go up and I sit down here. She goes up and she sits down here. That's when I start watching the movie. The movie opens and it says Paradise Falls, and there's the beginning of my first dream. Now, that wasn't Claudia in the second dream. That was a stripper that I ended up having a conversation with. Her name was Cherish, and we did the stars. And she was the very first person before Claudia that I just went up and just told the absolute truth to. I'm like, I'm 19 years old. I know the cure for AIDS, and I also know God. And she accepted everything I had to say about it. And of course, we fell in love. Like, her and I fell in love at that moment. And then, of course, we parted ways. And then that's when I met Claudia later on the road, just like in the movie. Going on our different lives, our different routes in life. And of course, she was born March 31st, this cherished girl. I go, when's your birthday? She goes, March 31st. I'm like, you're lying. She goes, I'm like, how old are you? She goes, 19. I was 19. So I'm like, Anyways, so I go through this massive debacle with this girl in Sydney, and I'm all heartbroken. And I'm just like, you know what? Until 2012 or the end of the world, I'm not messing with women. I've been looking for this one girl, this girl of my dreams since the age of 15, and now I'm 19. I've been looking at every single person that walks down the street, and I'm like, even if I see her and I'm too afraid to, I have to say hello, you know? Even if she's with another guy, it's got to happen, you know, if I see this girl. And I'll know exactly who she is. So I'm feeling like hella depressed, and honestly, I wanted to take it out. I knew I was immortal, but I was like, no, fuck this. I'm going to go lay down on the train tracks behind the house. Because... no, seriously.
I know.
So I sent a message to Mom, and I'm like, can I please get a ticket out? Meaning the immortality cloak.
Switch it off.
Yeah, just for 5 minutes. And Mom replies saying, you've got a ticket to Melbourne. And I'm going, what the hell? Hey, can't be any worse than this situation right here. I'm getting the hell out of the city. So, of course, you know... Mom goes, oh yeah, all right. So we start planning it out and start setting it up. And then we start talking about, you know, plans, like what's going to be happening. And we're talking, the Voorhees family are coming out, and they're actually bringing this girl with her. And Brian's like, it's your Christmas present, it's your wife. And I'm going, fuck off, I'm off limit. You know, I'm like, look, guys, I'll be there as like a mediator because she's going to be thinking that you guys are all nuts. So I'll be helping her out there, and I'll be the normal side for her, right? Like I'll help her out, and that's it. You know, like I just don't even push that on me, guys. You know. And then Brian's like, no, don't worry, I got your Christmas present, it's your wife. I'm like, no, dude, just don't even do that. So you guys send me her Facebook, and on her Facebook, it doesn't have a photo of her actual face. Like it's got like, you know, a side shot, but you can't see her face. And I'm like, okay, you know, like I sent her a friend request, she didn't accept it, and I'm like, okay, I don't bite, you know, like, anyways. So I go into Melbourne, and that's on Friday, and they're arriving on Monday, you know, so I'm there during the weekend and whatnot. Voorhees family arrives, and everybody's gone out from Trish's place, and gone out to greet the Voorhees family, and, you know, and I'm sitting inside, I'm like, okay, time to get this over and done with. I'll go say hello to him. And, g'day Jeremy, how you going? Hi Casper, hey little Faith. And then there was Claudia, but she was in a hood, a Gap hoodie, and she had, you know, black track pants on and Nike courts, and I was like, okay, nothing special here. And she had her head down, and I went up there, and she looked up, and she went, Adam! And she said it, like, it was weird the way she said it. She said it as if she knew me. Like, Adam! Like, I've never had a conversation. But the moment she looked up, my heart sank. I was so angry. I was so angry. Because the woman I've been looking for the past 4 years that was in my dream had literally just stared me in the face.
And called your name.
And called my name. Like, looked up. The way she looked up at me was just as if I was lifting the veil in the dream. And I was stunned. I absolutely stunned. And I looked over at Brian, and Brian is, I didn't say anything loud or anything, and I hadn't expressed about my dream. Mom and Brian had no idea about this dream, or Mom did, but that was years ago, and they would have no recollection of it now. So I'm looking at Brian. Brian's just got the look that he's got on his face right now. He's just like,
Christmas presents.
yeah. That's the, and yeah, and to be honest, like, as I said before, people find Yah, and that's it. That's the pinnacle of their life, right? I've always known I was going to find Yah. So when I found him, it was like, fuck. That's, all right, that's one thing off the list. Doesn't change anything. It really doesn't change anything.
So what
The number one thing that for me was always been, the woman of my dreams.
Okay, we've got 4 minutes, so in 4 minutes wrap up the next 4 years of your life.
Well, go to the next show.
We'll go to the next show.
But yeah, and so literally that's what Yah did for me. He gave me the one thing in my life that would make it complete. And me being who I am I really wish I was more redefined. Like, I fucked it up, right? That's why we're not here together right now. But I know there's going to be definitely something down the path, but that's why redefining is a must in my case, and it's different for every single one of us. Like, I don't put my struggle above anybody else's, because we all experience our own struggles in our own way and to our own detriment. And so my struggle was with knowing my priorities in life, and yeah, big smack to the fucking head with that. Because my priority at that time, I thought was Claudia, yeah. But no, I was sick in the head. Probably cared more about pot at that time. It's stupid of me. Absolutely stupid of me. And that's why, today, the way I look at it, if we never did get back together, and I'd say that's fine. That's what I deserve, right? Like, if that's judgment for me, fuck. Cop it. So, if that can be said on my end, think about you people out there, right? Especially you followers. It's devastating. The world can be crushed. So don't think that you can just be between the fence with this. Like, Pierre, I know you're between the fence with this, mate. I really do. I really know that you're not 100% there with belief, mate. You're basically just like, oh, well, it's the end of the world. I may as well choose some team just in case. Nah, man. Nah, dude. And I think out of anybody that would have the most infinite potential being sober, it would be you.
But being sober really is the key, isn't it?
It is. And that's what it is. It's a personal struggle. That's what I'm saying. So when it comes down to it, mate, and everybody out there, every single one of you out there, you know that there's something wrong in your life, and it's time to really knuckle down and fix it. No matter how hard it seems, it's really not. It's only as hard as you make it seem yourself. Like, that's it. It's really easy. And if you don't do it, you're just gonna relapse. You're gonna fuck everything up over and over again. I've done it. I've done it over and over and over again. To the point where I'm like, I'm insane. I've got a problem with me because I do the same bad shit and expect something different. I do the same, I relapse over and over and over again. You guys can't be doing it. And you gotta lose everything to gain everything. You gotta lose it all. I fucking lost it. So I'll leave that to you guys. How many minutes have we got? That's it?
Yeah, that's it.